welcome back to the show. Don't forget you can call in the last 20 minutes. You can also get on our online chat and go follow Today's News Talk on all social media platforms. We've now got with us Claire Dyer. She is a big ULEZ campaigner. You can follow her on Facebook, so go find her there. How are you this morning, Claire?
I'm fine, thank you. Yes, all ready to go.
Yeah, brilliant. And we've seen something in the papers that's called Project Detroit. What's all this about? This is something new, isn't it?
Well, I saw in the Daily Mail that it said it's a secret, but it's not a secret. I think if anyone is aware, they would have known about this about 3 months ago, because Peter Fortune actually confronted Sadiq Khan at the GLA Assembly, by which he denied all knowledge of it. There was a website which was www.project2030tfl.co.uk, and this was obviously the plans for Project Detroit, which then subsequently got taken down. As I said, he denied all knowledge. But within this website for Project Detroit, they found that at that point in time, there was already 1 to 5 million for resources, in pounds, 1 to 5 million for additional resources and staffing. There was a senior project owner going for about 250 to 500,000, and a program manager for the same. And this had already been worked on with the technology already up and running up to the 31st of June 2024. So this is already done, it's already happened. And like I said, he's denying all knowledge of it, but obviously it's his baby, if you like.
Yeah, and I mean, this is the facts that I've got from the Daily Mail. So obviously, take that with a pinch of salt. But they say 157 staff. Some of these engineers are paid more than 100,000 on this project. It's already a staggering 21 million has already been spent. Up to when it's finished, it could be 150 million. And of course, Sadiq Khan is denying that it's going to be a pay per mile scheme, but all the technology is being put in place that people in central London will have to pay how much they actually travel per mile. That's what it sounds like to me anyway.
Yeah, well, what it is interesting, this was obviously the beginning of November, he was first confronted on it. And at that point, it was 97 staff. And as I said, he denied all knowledge, said he didn't know anything about it and would have to look into it. So obviously, subsequently, we're now up to 157 staff. So we know this is going ahead. The ULEZ contract actually ends in 2026, and pay per mile, Project Detroit, comes into effect as soon as ULEZ ends in 2026. So why he's denying it, I mean, he's just proven himself to be a liar. Why he's not admitting it's because, if it's supposed to be a good thing, then why are you trying to keep it secret? He also has plans to have this expanded out. So it won't just be obviously Greater London. He wants this expansion to go out across the whole of the UK. And as we know already, cities around the UK have already got their own ULEZ or LEZ scheme of some sort. So they're all introducing this to eventually at some point expand further and further out. And then that's where you've got the people who live in the countryside without good public transport are going to suffer. So,
We've seen the farmers rise up. We've seen the EU have to back down. We covered that this morning. Is the best chance at the moment of getting Sadiq Khan out at the next general election? Or do we think that anyone who comes in is going to try push this Project Detroit and more ULEZ plans?
Well, Susan Hall has said that she will stop ULEZ on day one, and she said that she wouldn't do pay per mile. But the fact that the infrastructure is already there and the cameras are already there, she said she would not take the cameras down and that she would hand them to the police. My understanding would be that would be used as a form of CCTV. So I don't know. I don't have the answer to that. I mean, do we trust our politicians? I don't know. What we don't want is definitely a split vote. So if we have any chance, I'm probably going to say that we're going to have to vote Susan Hall, really, if we stand any chance. We're actively obviously doing our bit, because we've now turned into what's called box blockers. So we moved from obviously blocking the mobile van units to now legally stopping the box installs that they have to put in to support these cameras. So if they can't put the box in, then they can't put the camera in. And that's kind of taken off quite big at the moment. So, yeah. And we've obviously got the security again, so a lot of the security are back. So we miss them, so they're back. Same old tricks, masked up, supporting and protecting the maintenance crew, but they tend to turn up a couple of hours late. So yes, we've moved on from van blocking to box blocking to try and stop these cameras from going up, especially in the suburban areas. With the farmers, I mean, India were protesting back in 2020. Then it was the US farmers. Europe started a good couple of years ago, and that's continued and that's spreading. And now I think the UK farmers have had enough. Saying that, we do have an Orpington protest this Saturday, by which it's obviously to support the motorists and the farmers collectively, because it's all affecting all of us, and it's affecting their industry as well.
People have got to keep fighting back, haven't they, Rick?
Yeah, they do. And it's interesting as well, if we can just pick up on the name that Can's using for this Project Detroit. Blodders in the live chat has written a comment here. It's something I was thinking just as you were talking about it there. Blodders says, Project Detroit, destroy the London car ownership the same way like the Motown car industry was destroyed. So if you know anything about cars and manufacturing in America, Detroit was a real epicenter for car manufacturing in the car industry in America, and it was completely destroyed. It's now a ghost town, a shell of its former self, since the motor industry collapsed in Detroit. So now maybe, I don't know, why would you name it Project Detroit in relation to something that's going on in London? We know they like to associate names
Trolling
with
us?
Catastrophic events. Maybe, is it a troll job, Claire, do you think?
Well, I mean, I do believe that there is an assets publishing document on the government to reduce private ownership of vehicles. So they want to, at some point, everything's got to be electric. So they'll push to obviously all electric vehicles, which we know, is it by 2030, they don't want petrol or diesel vehicles.
So they want to push new ones being sold. They wanted to stop the sale of new internal combustion engine cars from 2030. They've kicked that can a little bit further down the road now to 2035, saying that they've listened to the people. So they're going to try and put an embargo in that. So they're always kicking the can down the road, Claire.
Yeah, I think it's called pacifying us, but obviously ultimately there's extensive documents, pages and pages, to reduce private ownership of vehicles eventually. So go to electric, go to car sharing, electric scooters, electric bikes. So yeah, reduce private ownership of vehicles. And, if we go even further, the World Economic Forum back in December 2016 have a whole section, and it's titled Pushing for Shared Ownership, Goodbye Car Ownership, Hello Clean Air, Welcome to the Future of Transport. So there definitely is a long-term kind of global initiative to basically remove vehicles off the roads and push you to public transport or walking or cycling. So,
another thing we can do, Claire, I was going to say, as you're talking, would just not buy these electric vehicles. We, boycott them, carry on buying petrol and diesel, and that helps in itself, doesn't it? They can't push something, supply and demand, that people don't want if people stop buying it.
I mean, it will, but obviously, ultimately, at this stage, we've got a number of cars we're on Euro 6 that aren't compliant. That's just going to extend further. Yeah. So what do we do? Do we all collectively refuse to pay the fines? I mean, that's one option. Also try and stop these cameras from going up, because if the cameras can't get you on ANPR, then they can't fine you in the first instance, which is, where I live, we are actually ULEZ free. We don't have a camera. We don't have one single camera or anything. So, people can drive freely where we live, which is quite nice to know. But I think, that's the only way, isn't it, really, to keep them back.
I do wonder, because we saw this with other topics, they kind of I'm all right, Jack type attitude. So because it's in London at the moment, people are like, well, it doesn't affect me. I live in Reading, so it's not quite come to Reading yet. But I wonder when they push it too far, if that is what will happen. There'll be so many people that turn around and say, I'm not paying it. And that mass non-compliance will make the difference. Because at the moment, I'm all right, Jack. I'm somewhere else. I'll let the Londoners pay it. I think there's an element of that, isn't there?
Yeah, we even have people in the ULEZ zone who say, well, my car's compliant, so it doesn't affect me. And my reply to them is, for now. Your car's compliant for now, but by next year it probably won't be, because that goalpost is going to keep moving. Everyone has a breaking point, because as I said, it's not just about the ULEZ charge or the fines that people are incurring. It's everything else as well. We're in a cost of living crisis. People are getting fined left, right and centre. You don't get enough time to pay. I mean, you only got to look at the dart charge. You get till that night to pay it, and if you don't, that's it, you're fined. The same with the airports. You now got you're charged £7.50 just to drop off and be in there for 5 minutes. Again, if you don't, I don't know how long is it? Is it 3 days? I think you have. That's a fine. Mortgages, everything. So at some point, people will start to break, and that it will all be at different stages for each individual person as to when they get to the point where they say enough is not enough. Because even in the last year, we've found more people are starting to rise up and say, well, I want to help try and collectively do something about this. We're building teams to sort of help legally protest these block installs, and we're creating teams around our neighbourhoods into neighbouring neighbourhoods and towns and areas, and more people are starting to join because they've had enough.
Yeah, I absolutely agree.
I think that's what it's kind.
Yeah,
and people are watching around the world.
I heard exactly that.
I heard apparently somebody in New Zealand actually said that they're watching everything that's going on with the ULEZ, and they're calling it the Battle of Britain. I would take that as a very huge compliment. I've had people from Canada say we're watching, and definitely in Manchester and, up to the north, Scotland, where they're already having this implemented, they're watching closely as to what we're doing to fight back and saying, when this comes to us, this is what we're going to be doing.
I think they have done the UK as a test, as they did for Wales with the 20-mile-an-hour speed limit. So let's show them that we're not going to take it, is what I say. Is there anything you want to finish with, Rick, before we have to say goodbye to Claire?
Just big thanks for your input.
Yeah. Oh, thank you. Can I just, 2 things actually, can I just quickly add? So, certain parts of Manchester just implemented a 10-mile-an-hour speed limit. And the other thing I would like to do is obviously promote the Orpington protest on the 10th for the motorists and the farmers. 11th is Sutton. They're doing a 4-camera block, 113 cameras. And on the 17th in Biggin Hill, we have our Carnival, because ULEZ is dead in Biggin Hill. So just to promote that for everyone to come to that. Because we need numbers. That's brilliant.
We do need numbers, and make sure you carry on following Claire on Facebook, because she will continue to keep you updated on there too. But we've got to take a break now on today's News Talk, and lots of stories to cover here at TNT.